Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of BizMeds. We're your neuroscience business coaches. My name is Saad, and I've been in the industry helping clients scale their businesses, supporting them for the last 6 years.
My name is Darris, and I've been helping companies scale $60 to $90 million.
And we're here to give you your minimum effective dose for your business. For today's podcast, we have something unique to talk about. And the reason why I say something unique is because my co-host, Darris, was just at a very, very cool, what would you call it? Like a conference or like a get-together of like smart minds?
Workshop,
A workshop.
whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
Meeting of the minds, mastermind, all the things. Right, 2 days with Alex Hormozi and the teams and Layla's teams at acquisition.com.
So honestly, I want to kind of hop right into it. Like how did this come about? Like what was the story behind it? How did you?
We go back years
Yeah.
now, and we are always looking for and always open to learning. So that's kind of the whole catalyst of all of these things. Like, why do why do we go coaching in other programs, or why do we continue to look for other mentors? Right? Because
so
you don't know what you don't know.
You invest in yourself?
Oh, imagine that. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because I think it's naive to think that I know everything. So yes,
Right.
have I had successes running very large organizations, scaling $60 to $90 million, all those things? Yes, absolutely. But that doesn't mean I know or I'm egotistical enough to think that I know everything. If anything, you start to learn how much you don't know. And so this is really an opportunity for us to really talk and maybe help other people, other business owners, when they're thinking about their business. It's, you don't have to know everything. You shouldn't know everything. If you know everything, that's probably a big roadblock in your business, is you feel like you have to be the one that knows everything. And that ties back to one of the lessons that we talked about. One of the lessons wish we'd learned earlier was like, check your ego at the door. And so I'm always up for learning more, and that's the whole process. So when Alex and their team are sending you emails and they're investing, they're giving so much value and knowledge out, and it's like, cool, like, all right, this is relatable. They have such great information, valuable information, and then they're using their, like, what they practice what they preach. So it's like, okay, cool, let's see. And so it just naturally played out that, I'm gonna.
How did you find it? Like, was this something that, because I didn't even see it being advertised. Like,
I mean, they're I know they run ads, but it's also, if you've bought their books, if you're plugged into their stuff, right, you've signed up for their mailing list, and there's always they're great because they always have a call to action. If you are a business doing this, then sign up to see if you qualify to come spend some time with our team.
Okay.
And so that was a natural process. So I just ran through their funnel, and there it is. And so I got to evaluate kind of their front end funnel, so their acquisition funnel, and then their sales funnel, how their process works, everything. And then, even go to the point where how they even host an event, and basically everything. Got to experience the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. I like when you see the level, the quality of the whole systems that they put together, it's amazing. And then you see you actually get to meet their team that they've assembled.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. Like, it's some of the smartest people that have had the great fortune of meeting and speaking with, and are kind of picking their brain, and people that can look at something like, oh yeah, that's broken because of this.
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't have known that.
Yeah.
Which is the whole point, right? You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So check your ego.
Yeah.
Go find out.
So right there, question, like, how hard was it having somebody look at the processes you've defined and like piece together and kind of the product that you have, hypothetically, like the product that you have, when you showed it to them and they're like, oh, this is shit. Like, how hard was that to kind of like,
So
I'm
I
not saying
think-
that they said it.
No, but I
Yeah.
think if you are really, I think it goes back to the intent and what you're trying to get out of something. If you're
Right.
going to try to reinforce like an already entrenched belief that you have. Like, so if
Yeah.
you're going and you're saying, like, I believe this and I just want validation, that's probably gonna be a really hard thing for you to swallow.
Yeah.
Versus like I went in and said, okay, cool. I have some hypotheticals that I think I want validated, that I think these are my challenges.
Yeah.
And I think these are the challenges that we're facing, and I want some validation on that. And sure enough, like got some very quick validation. So I think it's really about like the intent in which you're trying to go for something. If you're trying to go something to prove you right, okay, like I don't think it's going to go well for you in any situation. I don't care if it's this program or anything else. If you go with the openness to say, okay, I absolutely don't know.
I'm gonna be vulnerable.
I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm open to learning. I have a learning mindset. I'm just going to say, okay, cool. What is it that I don't know, or how do I improve this? It may not be complete dog shit, but it's probably not gold standard.
Yeah.
And so where in that spectrum do you sit, and how do I improve it? So I think it's, for me, I speak for me. It's like when I went there, obviously it was, okay, I want to validate what I think are the challenges,
Yeah.
and then get some better context, an even bigger context of, okay, here I scaled 60 to 90, but for those who have scaled like beyond that and what that looks like, okay, cool. Does that align? Does that move through, or like, does it hold true, or do I need to adjust? Do we need to like make some tweaks and things like that and adjust your thinking?
Okay. How many other business owners were there? Like, did you? I know you're very observant. So
I'm
like,
not going to say
You don't have to give me
that.
the number, but like a crap ton.
No, it wasn't this like, hey, we're busting on seams. Like they're very selective in who they bring in.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have a really great way to qualify the people that they bring in.
Yeah.
And I will say the quality of that room was amazing.
Right.
And they even show the stats when you start to look at, because they have, again, I'm going to probably preempt of something, but they are amazing at getting data.
Right.
And one of the key learnings, I don't know if it's key learning, but just to kind of that reaffirmation and the re-understanding that why data is so important is better data allows you to make better decisions versus just going off what you think, and you're moving yourself from making a hunch to, okay, I now have data to support this decision. And that's a really key thing. So when they brought up the data of the room, the quality of the room, they're like, hey, according to, the US statistics, here's how many businesses are in each level. And this is the percentage. This room is this. And it was a very high quality room. So a lot of businesses doing like really great numbers.
Yeah.
And so it's just, I really wouldn't care about the number of people. It's just the quality of the room that really matters. Okay. And that's, I think they've done an amazing job at that. And I think that's a great lesson for any business. It's the quality of your clients really determines the quality of your business.
Yeah, I agree. The reason why I was asking that question is to like help like our viewers understand, how curated this was, and because you could do a shotgun approach and hope somebody like pick up certain
If you
shells.
spent any time listening to Alex,
Yeah, exactly.
and what they do, it's really around having a really good standard for who you want to work with, right? And so they're very clear who their avatar is. They're very clear on who their ideal clients are. So they're going to go out of their way to make sure that when they do something, it's very purposeful. It's not wasteful. It's not it's not to do something for the sake of doing something. There is a clear benefit for all those involved.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Okay. So again, I'm going to shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
Because I know you're a very observant guy. So while you were in that room and you were looking around at the other business owners, what's the one thing that you noticed?
Okay, I think
across everyone.
I think this one, I don't know if it shocked me, but actually probably reaffirmed back to me when working with clients. Like the most common thing that I saw was the inability of business owners to truly understand what their true problems were. So I say that because people would, like, if you can, I really clearly articulate and define the problem, then you can really understand how to solve that problem. And what I saw was business owners asking questions, but every time they asked a question, it was slightly different context.
Mhm.
It had slightly different spin on it, didn't have the quite same
Mhm.
thing. And it was like they were looking for themselves to be validated and getting the answer that they wanted versus here are the facts.
Yeah.
This is what I think it is, but I'm open to hearing some more or like what my actual true issue is. Because as a business owner, if you're unable to clearly articulate what your problem is, well, you're going to identify what you think a problem is and you're going to go solve it. And you're either solve it the wrong way or the right way, but it doesn't really matter because it's still the wrong problem.
Mhm.
And so you might get a temporary feel good of that you solved a problem, but it's not going to make any meaningful difference because you've solved the wrong problem. Either the right or wrong way doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And so being able to really understand and have a good framework for understanding like how to identify what your problem is
Yeah.
and then work ruthlessly at focusing resources towards that. Like that, what I saw a lot of business owners,
Mhm.
you know, every time they ask a question, it was slightly different and had different information, different context and different spin on it. And we're like, well, how, like that to
problem
me
was-
very clearly
Yeah.
was that you don't know how to identify what your true problem is,
Yeah.
nor are you coming with the intent of trying to really identify what your problem is. Or you're not taking the lesson of being able to do that.
Yeah. So the problem was that they couldn't figure out what their problem was.
Exactly. That's what I saw, like of observing all and interacting with a lot of business owners
Yeah.
is that's what it was. And so it was a really interesting
Yeah.
thing to see at that scale, because even at those levels and very successful people, so they've obviously like solved the right problem at some point. And then I think for whatever reason, that was just the most, I won't speculate to why.
Yeah.
It's just really, that's what I observed most happening.
Yeah. So what was the one thing that you think was maybe missing or could have been done better? I know this is a
You know what,
tough,
that because they survey right away. And honestly, I mean, I don't really have anything
really.
other than I wish it was another day longer.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was that good.
Yeah.
And it was
a lot
that
of information
a
too.
lot of great information, a lot of, you know, as someone who has kind of grown up in business and grown a lot of like large organizations, run a lot of different
Yeah.
large organizations, I would say like it's very cool to have your playbook validated
Yeah.
in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Some definitely like great kind of maybe reorganizing them, some thoughts and ideas, which I think is important because again, you don't know what you don't know. And that added context really helps. And you're like, okay, because I think it's a very challenging thing, especially as coaches in any field. If you became this rigid, like this is the only way to do it, like to me, that's a very risky way to approach things because that means like you're not really, to me, it signals you're not open to learning.
Yeah.
And I feel like over time, as you get new information, you get more data,
Mhm.
you should be able to improve and look at things. Oh, cool. Like, you know, I was for a while thinking about the way, you know, we use a strategic plan and that kind of model. And then what it confirmed, one of the things that was confirmed to me is like, okay, we need to actually tighten that down a bit more and become even more focused on kind of like what a more crucial constraint is versus, you know, what they think a few might be. And then we're dividing kind of resources versus, okay, what's the most pressing one
Mhm.
and attack that versus trying to achieve multiple things in parallel. And it's, you know, and we tie that back to, okay, well, from a neuroscience standpoint, like we are very big proponents of being focused.
Yeah.
And it was just an interesting kind of just interesting because we've already started seeing that with clients where it's like, okay, the strategic plan is great because having a plan is better than having nothing, but how can we make it better? And it's actually, oh, cool. We need to kind of become even more focused and focus on the one big thing. And that's kind of realigning a lot of the client work now is helping them and it's tightening the focus and reallocating resources better to like solve that thing faster.
Mhm.
And then you can then move on to the next one faster versus like trying to do 3 things, for example,
Yeah.
taking longer in parallel and trying to do them all at the same time versus, okay, let's just focus on the one big one
Yeah.
and give us the most value,
Yeah.
work on that one. So it's stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe that's a really long answer to like what could have been better.
No,
but it's really around. I don't think I would love to do longer.
Yeah.
and like they were solid days. Like it was,
Yeah.
and I mean, I just can't say enough great things about it
Mm-hmm.
because it was probably, I told the guys there, I said, like, this is by far one of the best events I've ever been to,
Mm-hmm.
and extremely valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was gonna be my kind of second follow-up question to that. Was like, was it worth it?
Oh, I
Was
mean,
it worth the effort? Was it worth the time?
it was
Was it
worth,
worth the
you
Yeah.
know, a million times its weight in gold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like any part of that, like if you were just like to sit in, be a fly on the wall for
Mm-hmm.
10 minutes, you would have walked away with some extreme amount of value.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what was the one thing that, going through it, I know you mentioned that they helped really like hone light on the things that you weren't thinking about. What was the one thing that like they kind of just affirmed for you through the processes that
Well, there was a few things, but one thing that stands out to me was, because continually what you see is this, it's a struggle with businesses because it always comes back to like people, right? Like you can have a great process, great system, but if like the people don't operate it, it's not going to be great if you don't have the right people in. And so my view and our view has always been go and get great people, because one great person was actually more valuable, and we'll do the work of like probably 3 to 5 mediocre people.
Yeah.
But because we've all been products of how we've been interviewed along the way, like we just, oh, that's all we know. And so we repeat that process. And to see their approach to acquiring talent and developing talent and moving them through, it was completely aligned. And it's like, oh, this is something I already work at and already do and have already worked with many clients to implement. That to me was really cool to see that. And it's like there's the there's the vision side of the business and there's the operational side of the business and how they work together. Both Alex and Layla work extremely well together, and how the organizations, like, you see some really crazy successful people have kind of like dropped everything, sold big businesses to come and work with that.
Yeah.
Right. And those are really that's like grade A talent.
Yeah.
And what I see, how that goes back is, if you've been in an organization or you've been part of the process where you've had to attract like talent, like when you start working with better talent, like it shows up immediately.
Yeah.
Right. We've all been part of something where we're just like, the biggest thing that people complain about is like other people.
Yeah.
Oh, this person shows up late all the time. And it's like, oh, why do we have to have a rule to have people show up on time? Well, it's because that's really the level of talent. Like we're playing to the lowest common denominator, and it is a really big mind shift to try to think about, because at some point, like we're voting with our pocketbook, we're voting with our bank account to say, oh, I'm trying to justify, like, I'm going to pay this person way more than I would pay anybody else. But because I've never experienced working with someone like that, I'm afraid, right, as a business owner, like the biggest fear is that you're making the wrong choice, because in the past you've hired someone within like 2 weeks, they've not worked out, you've had to like get rid of them, or you live with that decision and be like, oh, this is the only person I could find.
Yeah.
And you end up living with misery for months and potentially years, because you've now introduced that risk into your business, because like they're part of a really important process. And so what you have is like, you get key man risk, right? So you have that person that you don't really love, who's not a great team player, all the things that you don't really enjoy, is now in charge of this like really important process. If they left, that whole thing would die and it would create mass chaos.
Yeah.
And that to me is like a really cool thing to see, that how they approach that, and that aligns so much between kind of like what we teach clients and how they approach and have implemented in acquisition.
Yeah.
And showing other business owners how to do that as well. Like here's a framework for being able to do that, and why, like, you can build talent or you can buy talent.
Right.
Right. And so it's really around like, if you can do the math on what the difference is, because some of them made really good points. Like, well, look, if it's going to take me 6 months to like train someone to do this, and they're already like a great player and they can do that, but it's going to take me 6 months to recruit someone. Like by the time I get the ad up, do all the like spin up HR or the talent team and get the ads out, do all the interviews and get the onboarding. It's like 6 months anyway.
Yeah.
It's kind of a wash. Okay, I'll probably just grow the talent if I have some really great talent on the inside, right?
Exactly.
But if it's going to take a year, and I'm doing the math, okay, well, that's probably when it's going to be way more advantageous and cost effective to go after some really great talent that can do all that like right out of the box.
Yeah. One thing we've talked about this before too, but I heard it in a different light recently. It's like there's a difference between like the order takers and the order givers, and most successful business owners hire more order givers, which kind of challenge that are okay to challenge like ideas that might not be successful.
Yeah.
Whereas an order giver, if you just tell them like, hey,
Order taker.
order taker, yeah. Tell them what you think they should do, and they just do it, and then you realize like after it's done, like 3 weeks later, you're like, oh, this wasn't what we should have done. And your order taker is like, yeah. Like, I mean, you told me to do this. I did what you want me to do this.
Which is fine at a certain level.
Yeah.
But if you want to grow, I mean, you have to be aware of that. And if you've never, like, that's where you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
it's a kind of a mind shift. It's a huge mindset shift to really think about, because if you've never worked with better talent, your experience is telling you, I'm going to get the same kind of person, but it's also a product of how you market for people.
Yeah.
Right. And I've always been a big proponent, and I've learned over time, is that you have to market for people, like for your positions, like you would market to your ideal client.
Yeah.
Right. You're not selling them this is it's the benefits, all like the so what's that are really like the bigger things, the more impactful things that are important to people than just this is how much money you make and kind of like, can you do this? It's that, and okay, here's the other things, and how you disqualify a lot of people from even getting into your funnel for that.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to put the same old, ad up and expect different and higher quality people to apply, then there's some levels you have to go find those people.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you said this before too, is like, a lot of times you have to hire up. Like you don't, as a business owner.
Most won't though.
Yeah.
You have to.
And it's an ego thing, right?
That is an ego thing. And it's the photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy. And then you're like, well, now we have just a bunch of order takers.
Yeah, exactly.
We do have like, you didn't tell me to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like, you don't pay me to do that.
Yeah.
You don't pay me to think. I just come 8 hours.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, I've never lived through that.
Yeah.
Or, I have to continually bring you in to talk about why you're late in a service delivery model where like being on time, we're actually measured against. That's important, because like if you're late, like that negatively impacts us from a revenue standpoint, and we're penalized. Yeah. That's a huge thing. By the way, you're an adult.
Yeah.
When you're supposed to report for work.
Yeah.
Like, this is time sensitive. I should not have to have 5 meetings with you and have to terminate you ultimately, because
you're not
I've worked with you every step of the way. Okay, like what else can you do? Okay, how many alarms do you need? Like who else can you get to help you make sure you're up on time? Like, exhaust everything before you have to get to that point. But it's like, that's the quality of things versus shifting. It's a big shift, and so like that was a really cool thing to see. I was like, you know what, that's amazing, because I like that. So it's really cool to see the way you view business, a lot of the way that Layla runs and operates. Yeah. It's very cool.
Yeah. Okay, we're kind of approaching a perfect time here. Is there anything you wanted to specifically share about this? Like what you got out of it that most people
I got a
don't?
solid kick in the groin.
Yeah.
Proverbially speaking.
Yeah.
But it was good. I mean, it was fantastic, because that's essentially what we were looking for. It was like, hey, we're going to go do this. We're going to spend the time, because I want, again, to learn and make sure that my perspective is big enough to really see. Yeah. And that's going to be one of the big shifts that we have coming up, is even our offering. around the 1 month day course and what
Right.
we're going to be doing that. So stay tuned on that because we have some really big announcements coming out. with
Huge
that.
changes.
Huge, like game changing things. Because one thing that we're realizing is, listen, like just create so much value for people
Right.
and business owners. So that's what we're going to do. So yeah, we have some amazing changes and really great benefits coming up for everyone regarding the 1 month day and working with us. So that's going to be phenomenal. And it was all because, you know, some very wise people said, yeah, you need to make these changes.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, and for all of our existing clients that are already going through the 1 month day, like, these changes will be also shared with you and how this impacts you. So it's not going to be one of those. It's only
absolutely.
for the new people.
Yeah.
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 So
Everyone benefits
everybody
from it.
benefits from it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else you want to ask me about it?
No. I feel like you shared a lot about it.
The Mose has some giant arms.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Exactly.
He is capped.
You think I could take him in an arm wrestling match?
You could take him to the table and then he would bury you.
Dang it.
Yeah.
All right. Couple more days extra a week in the gym.
I will say just the quality of everything. And actually, here's another one. Onboarding is so important.
Okay.
Onboarding.
Within your business?
When clients come on, onboarding and the experience is so important. We'll probably dive into this in another episode, but it's really, and we'll talk more about this after, is like just the quality of onboarding, how it sets the context, everything.
Yeah.
means the world. And and when you deliver so much value, like if you just focus on creating value for the people that you work with or just creating value in general, like it's going to come back to you. Yeah. And that's a labor of love. And there's an exponential kind of like, it's the exponential time curve where it's like very little return in the beginning. But the one thing I do admire and love about Alex and Layla is the team that they've surrounded who also share the same vision. And they are about creating so much value because they know, like for them, they get like prime lead flow out of this, right? Like they get access to better businesses than most investment firms out there because like they're hands-on, like they know this. They have really solid frameworks that they work with. They are very crystal clear on who they want to work with, and taking them from the place where they are and knowing who they actually want to invest in. Yeah. Like they are dialed in, and that is really cool to see because that takes an immense amount of focus and not getting caught up in all these other things. So when you look at that, like just the quality of everything, like there's a benefit to them, but there's also a benefit to other business that partner because as they grow and they become like say one of acquisitions, then like they're going to grow immensely with them and they get all the benefit of working one-on-one with their teams. And so it's phenomenal. Like they really know their stuff and some amazing people that are there who are there because they see their vision being captured and being able to be achieved within the vision of Alex and Layla and that larger. And they've built this kind of amazing team from the top down. They didn't go and start from the bottom up. They actually went top down. And I'm like, that is absolutely an amazing way to do it. Cause if you have the ability to do that, and sometimes like that's an adjustment. So in the beginning stages, you got to build a lot of talent, but as you're able to scale and buy more quality talent, absolutely do that. Yeah.
That's a great way to analyze that.
So that was 48 hours with the Mose.
Yeah.
Boiled down just for you. All right, guys. We want to thank you for joining us in this very special edition of BizMeds. We're your hosts. I'm Darris.
My name is Saad.
And we are skilled at scaling companies from $60 to $90 million and beyond and helping many companies just like yours. So if you just joined us, thank you for sharing one of the first episodes. If you like something, share it with someone else who's never heard of us because we do not get paid to do this. If you've been along for the whole ride, thank you. Bless you. We appreciate your ongoing support. As Andy Frisella says, don't be a hoe, share the show if you learned anything. So we thank you all. Mom, thank you for watching and supporting. Saad's mom, we love you. Thank you very much for loving and supporting us every time and always your wonderful feedback. And you know what? If you haven't signed up for the free masterclass, do that link below and stay tuned because we're going to be sharing some amazing things coming up with some amazing changes for you. And remember, you are just one day away from the life you've always dreamed about. We'll see you in the next show.